Wednesday, Bryce was charged with aggravated assault.
Charged a 10-year-old boy with aggravated assault after he hit a fellow student in the head during a play game of dodgeball.
I couldn't believe it.
This is on top of a one-day suspension, which occurred right after the incident.
This is a kid that was playing on the playground with his friends.
I couldn't believe that any person would think that that is okay to criminalize a child.
Alright, here's a ridiculous story you may have heard of this week, where a 10-year-old boy from Canton, Michigan was charged with aggravated assault after injuring another student during a game where the goal is to hit said other student with a ball, known commonly as dodgeball. You may have heard of it.
I feel shocked.
Now, after public outrage, charges were dropped, but just because the charges were dropped doesn't eliminate what has already been done, nor does it eliminate what we should be discussing here: black youth being criminalized, and it needs to stop.
Sorry that her child got hurt. I'd be sorry for any child that got hurt.
Now, you may have heard of the topic of school to prison pipeline and zero tolerance policies, but what you witnessed here would have been another example of a child forced into the justice system at an early age for an abhorrent reason if it wasn't for activist involvement.
After public pressure, the charges have been dropped, but this may not be over.
Now, the mom found out just last week that her 10-year-old son was charged. She was devastated. He was set to be in court tomorrow.
I just couldn't believe that any person would think that that is okay to criminalize a child. We live in a predominantly white area.
Take a look at this baby that was supposed to appear tomorrow for a criminal proceeding, a pretrial conference on an aggravated assault charge. This is essentially a straight-A student who had never done anything wrong and was charged with a criminal offense.
But for thousands of other kids across the country, their story may not garner the same media attention and so fall through the cracks. Criminalization continues. I mean, the reason this situation could have made its way from the classroom to the courtroom in the first place is so inherently problematic, it needs to be resolved. A spokesperson for Plymouth Canton Community Schools told NBC last week that the April incident between the two students was handled, and I quote, in accordance with the applicable district policies and the Student Code of Conduct. Okay, then if your policies could result in a child being charged with aggravated assault for playing a game where the goal is to hit the other person with the ball, then your policies need to be revised. This example shows what happens all too often across this country, is that specifically when the child happens to be of colour, is they're over-policed and they're criminalised. Such as this poll by Education Week, which shows that black males are 3 times more likely to be arrested at schools more than their white male peers. Black girls do not fare much better either. They are arrested at 1.5 times more than their white peers. When you have incidents like this, where schools are referring kids to authorities based on a dodgeball incident, it shows that regardless of whether the charges were dropped the day before they went to court, more needs to be done.